record this, and I'm going to share the screen. We're going to go desktop, share. Are you guys seeing my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I got it this time.
Sand dunes in your corner of
Okay.
your.
So we got psychographics, understanding your client's hot button. So when clients come to us, generally they've got one of two types of problems. They're either money or people, right? I mean, usually that's what we're fighting over. But frequently, the thing is not the thing. You know, the money is frequently not the real issue. It's usually something along the lines of hurt egos, you know, bruised sense of loyalty. How dare you? I did so much for you. That kind of thing. That's really driving a lot of the heat and the anger behind this. So for us, when we're looking to figure out, you know, from a marketing perspective of how to develop clients, figuring out what their real hot button is so we can appeal to that is what will help us out in the long run. So for example, if the client's coming in for a divorce consult, well, what's really motivating that? So we've got two different types. You know, you got men and women. The woman's coming in, generally, why is she coming in for a divorce? It's either because her sense of safety and security is being attacked, either physically, financially, or emotionally, right? So that's generally the thing that we're gonna have to take a look at from a marketing perspective. Generally, it's either substance abuse, drug abuse, or physical abuse. So what are they looking at there? Now we're back to that sense of security. We're looking for someone who's gonna protect them. They're looking for someone that's going to bring peace and harmony to their life because they can't take the stress anymore. So they want out. Same thing with men, but generally with men, it's a different thing. So with men, generally it's, I'm bored in the relationship. I'm not getting what I want out of the relationship. All I am is an ATM. So when we're looking to market to them, the perspective is very different than when we're looking to market to a woman. With a woman, we're going to be marketing a sense of security. With men, it's a sense of freedom. But they have really big concerns. Their concerns are going to be, what's going to happen to my kids? How much is this going to cost me? How long is it going to take? But when we're looking at that, and if we understand that and then weave that into our marketing, our advertising, we can find the clients that are exactly right for us. Does that make sense to you guys?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So like looking at bankruptcy, we were talking about bankruptcy a couple of weeks ago, clients coming in for bankruptcy consult. What's their pain point? Is it really the fact that they haven't paid their credit card bill in 2 months? Maybe, but the reality is they're probably beyond that. What it really is it's the shame. It's the sense of guilt. It's the sense of failure. So if we can reach to that emotion and make them understand that we understand them and that this is the relief we're giving you. We're letting you off the hook from the guilt. We're letting you off the hook from the shame. We're letting you off the hook from that sense of failure. It allows them to be relaxed and to trust us and to then want to hire us. So it's reaching out to an audience that has a pain point so that we connect with them. Same thing with if we're looking for someone who's coming in for a partnership dispute. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever done a partnership dispute.
I haven't.
They're almost worse than divorces. Yeah.
Really?
Because you're dealing with somebody's sense of loyalty. We were partners in business together. Usually there's a huge sense of betrayal. There's money involved. And frequently what ends up happening is this greater thing of the other partner is now an outside force that is attacking my sense of familial security. So it's no longer I'm in it for me. Now it's me, my wife, my kids, my husband, my kids. It's a much bigger thing. So when you get into the disputes, whether or not somebody got their sticky hands in the cookie jar and overtook too much money, that's what we're fighting over. But what we're really fighting over is the sense of betrayal. And so when we're looking at how to reach a client's hot button, once we understand what the thing is that's really going on, what's really driving their emotions, Then we can appeal to their emotions, then make the logical choice, an argument for them to pick us. We have to reach somebody's emotions before we can reach their logic, because we make our decisions emotionally and then we justify them with logic. So whenever we're trying to lead with a logical argument, it's probably not going to work in a marketing environment as well as a good story or good emotional outreach. So that's why, let me see if I can switch over here to this one. StopSpousalSupport.com, one of my websites, and it's how do I end the agony of alimony? So who am I reaching with that headline?
Spousal support payors.
The payer. What's the emotion that they are most in touch with? It's agonizing that I have to write a check every month for somebody else who doesn't want to get a job.
Frustration.
What are the 3 reasons why they're upset? Somebody's being lazy.
Mm-hmm.
They're just hanging out. They're violating the Gavin warning. They're not trying to get ahead of them. They're not trying to become self-sufficient. They're busy living with somebody else, enjoying life on my money, and I'm paying for that new boyfriend or girlfriend. And I've got to keep paying even when my job gets changed. So now it's like, okay, here's a solution. Use a vocational examination, use a private investigator to find out who's really living there and whether or not job changes have happened that can impact a reduction in your alimony. So what's the goal? The goal is to explain to the future client that everybody has a right to move on with their life. And that's their number 1 complaint. I moved on, they're not moving on. Why won't they let me move on? Why can't we just be done with this? Why do I have to keep paying? So I'm reaching that emotion. I'm hitting that hot button throughout this. And then it's just a straight up like, how do you want to work with us? First off, let's discover it. Here's our 5-question survey to see if we can help you. Real simple. This is going to be the logical part. Let's do the work, gather all your paperwork. You want to work with us? Give us a call. It's a $500 consult fee. If it's really worth it to you, if you're paying $10,000 a month alimony, what's a $500 consult fee? So it's a real straightforward way of appealing.
What is the survey?
In the survey, it was, let me see if I can pull it up here. It's a way to screen the clients for me.
Ah, okay.
So how long were you married? 1 to 10 years, over 10 years. Obviously, that's like, I'm going to see what the value here is.
Right.
Age, again, it's value. Household income, it's a screening mechanism. And this is the one that gets them. Does your former spouse have marketable skills? Because if they answer yes, now it's like, okay, they're just being lazy. And now I know that's what the hot button's going to be. And how much education? Same thing.
Can I ask you a question about that marketable skills? Do you find, have you had, like when you've had potential clients fill this out, do they understand what you mean by marketable skills? Or are they just, you know, they'll say yes, and then when you actually talk with them, it turns out that they're just assuming that, you know, their wife of 30 years, because she was, you know, a secretary before they got married, and then she took 30 years off to raise the kids, that she still has, you know, skills that kept up with.
Right.
You know, so do they, marketable skills, we know what that means.
Right.
Do they know?
Honestly, I've never had anybody question me about that. So
Really? Okay.
And I've gotten both yes answers and no answers. So I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
I'm going to say most people do understand that.
From a survey point of view, when you're gathering this information from prospects, does it matter to you what their answer is, or do you care whether they understand what marketable skills are, or is that a way of seeing if they have a hot button there?
It's really more from that perspective, it's really more for me to figure out like, okay, here's one more hot button. The real screening mechanism for me are these first 3 questions. You know, my sweet spot over 10 years, 36 to 50, over 70,000 in income. Because that's going to have enough of a support award that they're going to be willing to pay the consult fee, and then we can see what we can do going forward.
Uh-huh.
Those are the things I care about.
And below are the things they care about.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
I actually had a woman come see me once, and she was a lawyer, but she had been raising her kids for 15 years. And her argument was, I don't have these skills anymore because I stopped to be a mom.
Right. Yeah, that's frequently the argument. So now that we've figured out, like, okay, when somebody has a hot button, how do we then reach them? One way is that website. The other way, or one of the other ways that I use, is these short videos on YouTube. So here I've got titles of my YouTube videos, and these are all generally between 3 and 5 minutes. So they're not long, they're real short because it's designed basically just to answer one question specifically. So big one, like very popular one is, how do I ask the court to get more time? Because that's what people care about. You know, primarily for dads, their biggest concern is, I need to get more time with my kids. How do I do that? And by having a video that reaches exactly to their emotional need, they're more likely to pay attention to this and then call me.
Dave, I have a question.
Sure.
That website you showed us with Stop Spousal Support, is that a page from a larger website? And if so, how do you market that? Do you have, I mean, you don't have a whole separate website. Is that like a sub page and you
No.
ad campaign?
No, this is literally stopspousalsupport.com.
Oh, okay, never mind. I thought it was.
No, I own probably close to 100 different domains.
Okay.
I've got Stop Spousal Support, End Alimony, International Child Custody, Interstate Child Custody,
Do
parental.
you have a separate website for each subcategory that you practice?
I do.
Okay.
I do. You know, I've got parent alienation, which I think we've shown before. And the goal is that these are designed to reach a particular niche. So that people are going to come and they're going to find out, like, oh, that's exactly who I want. That's who I want to talk to. And so that's kind of where I'm at these days with this marketing. Here's something I'm doing just so you guys get a feel for what's going on. I'm just launching a Facebook long form ad campaign. So you know how when you're doing your news feed, you've got all those ads in the middle?
Yes, I have them on the side.
You'll see those ads in between the posts from your friends.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
yes.
sponsored ones.
Yeah, the ones that are the sponsored ones. So we're going to start running, it's any minute now, they're going to approve this long form ad. And it's literally 7 minutes and 18 seconds. And that ad is going to be run in the middle of people's news feeds on Facebook, targeting specifically men who are married with children in Los Angeles. And I'm targeting this by age of the children. So I've got new ones, 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 3 to 5, 6 to 8, 9 to 12, 13 to 17. And I'm going to see out of those demographics which group is most likely to be watching this video and then reaching out to me. Tom, you had a question?
No, I think you answered it. I was misunderstanding what you were saying.
Okay.
Dave, have you run other Facebook ads?
I have run other Facebook ads, and they've had sometimes great responses and sometimes no response. You know, the problem with advertising is, as David Ogilvy said a million years ago, that he knows 50% of his advertising dollars are wasted. He just doesn't know which 50%.
So you don't know why some were more successful than others?
I'm getting better at it as Facebook becomes more versatile and agile and being able to niche down and give me information. But why one word will work better than another word, I don't know. But,
My
but,
experience
like, I
is
reached out to a whole bunch of my friends and I said, is this headline going to work for you? 3 questions every married dad asks about divorce, or 3 questions about every married father? And most of my friends came back and said, I'm a dad, not a father. I'm like, okay, well, that's how they're identifying, so I'm going to speak to that. Randy, you had a question?
no, in my experience, most people, at least not just for me, but some colleagues of mine, people find me, they look on Google, they look on Yelp. They don't really look for a lawyer on Facebook. I know that advertising on Facebook, especially if you do a pay-per-click ad, is a lot more cost efficient than if you do it on Google. But my sense is people just don't look for lawyers on Facebook.
Well, can I say something? I don't
Yeah.
think that they would necessarily go onto Facebook looking for a lawyer. But if they're scrolling through Facebook and it's something that speaks to their situation, I could see them clicking on it.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Like,
But
I look on, I will get sucked in. Right now, for example, I'm looking for, art activities for my kids and more, educational experiences since they're, learning from home. And it's not that I go on to Facebook actually saying, oh gosh, I hope I come across something, but if I'm scrolling, if I'm sitting on my bed and I can't go to sleep and I'm scrolling through and I see something, yeah, I'll click on it and look at it because it speaks to what, is in my brain.
Right.
yeah, but what I'm saying is, if you want to bring in, the greatest number of clients, those people are going to Google. They're not passively, oh, that's interesting, I'll click on it. Oh, that really hits home. No, these people know what they're looking for. In my experience, they're going to Google, they're going to Yelp. They're not going to Facebook. That was my point. They're not going there to find a lawyer.
And you know what? We're going to find out. We're going to spend $6 a day for the next week and see if the phones ring.
Let us know.
We're going to see how far people will watch me talking and explaining an overview of family law for dads who are married, who are worried about divorce. Because it's going to tell me, are they clicking off in the first 3 seconds? Can I get to 15 seconds? Are they going to get to 25% of my video? 50, 75, 95, and 100% of my video. So I'm going to know exactly how much of this they're paying attention to. And of those, there will be a certain number that will go all the way through to 100. That's my client. The guy that gets to 95 or 100%, that's my client.
Well, let us know how it works. By the way, I have another question. You said you have all these domains for, spousal support, parental alienation, and you named a couple other categories. Do you do your own SEO for all these different domains, or do you hire someone to do it?
I'm kind of doing my own for the lower, these would be like secondary websites in my mind. My main website is my men's family law, and that one I pay for.
Okay.
That one I pay somebody else to do it. It cost me about, I think it's $250 a month, $225 a month, something like that.
Okay.
And I'm really happy with it. I mean, it's definitely been paying for itself.
No, I pay somebody $200 a month to my SEO, but I just have one website. I don't have
Right.
all these different domains, and I think that would get real expensive. I don't have the skill to do an SEO campaign.
Right.
How many clients do your 100 websites bring you a month?
It depends. Some of them, like the international child custody, we may get a call or an email a month. And out of that, we may pick up 1 case a year.
Huh.
But if 1 case a year brings in $10,000, it's worth it.
Yeah.
So I look at it from the perspective. My partner, Brad, is a real fisherman. He's got the boat in the marina he's had for 15 years. He's got, all the 65 different types of poles and 3 different tackle boxes. This is where I do my fishing. It's like each one of these is a line out to a particular demographic of who I want to reach.
Huh. Do you keep track of which of your hundreds of sites?
Well, look, let me clarify that. I've got a probably close to 100 URLs, of which I probably have maybe, I'm going to say about half a dozen to a dozen of these like mini websites. Stop spousal support is only 5 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 pages, 4 or 5 pages. So it's not like it's a really big, robust website. It's enough to get attention.
Mm-hmm.
Does this ultimately link back to your men's family law?
This does not.
It does not.
Oh, good question.
No,
What about the videos, the YouTube videos? Do you, how do you market them? Do you put them on your websites or just market them independently on YouTube, or how do you market your videos?
Sometimes they're on my websites, and sometimes they're on YouTube, and sometimes I use them as posts on Facebook.
Okay.
I was running a Google ad campaign for a long time on a bunch of these that were more common, things that were more kind of questions that people would be asking. If you look at the ones like how do I ask the court to get more time with my kids, I would probably pay to have that one done. Domestic violence restraining orders, look, 4.7 views, 4.7 thousand views. So not a lot of these. There's the one.
I like the one about what about Wally?
Oh yeah, my what about Wally?
Somebody told me to friend you because they said you were an animal lover. That's how we met. That's how I got referred to you.
I like dogs more than I like most people.
I do too.
Very few dogs I don't like. There's a lot of people I don't like. So, all right, that's kind of what I wanted to cover today was, figuring out like what's the emotional hook that we want to reach to our clients, and then give that content up into the audience. So if that makes sense to you guys, we can wrap it up for today, or we can go on to other things.
Yeah, I'm ready to wrap up because I have another meeting. So
Okay.
it was a great, concise presentation. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.